Locus here, and here's another review of this amazing figure from Bandai. So we do have here a volume 56 Mask Rider Kuuga from the Super Imaginative Chogokin line. Um, so this is the decade edition or decade version of this particular character. There's one that was released way back, I think a decade after this figure was released. We will do a comparative review later on, so I can show you guys. But this is like the modern version of the previous Kuga that was released under the same line. So for the packaging, as you can see, it has a huge display window that pretty much showcases the figure, the Guram, the accessories that it came with, and it seems that it's being served into two trays, because you would be able to see the some parts that can be interchanged with this figure that we will tackle on later. So the packaging as well has some linto symbols. It's like an ancient tribe that has something to do with the series. As you can see here, there are symbols right here. The Linto tribe, I guess. I think that's what they call it. Some markings there. It's on a reflective shim. The packaging, I mean. Okay, the side of the packaging, Mask Rider Kuuga. We have here, yeah, okay. At the back, just like in every regular release figure from this line, you would be able to see some previews, front and back, and the alternate version of it. So inside the packaging of the figure, we do have here a cardboard at the back of it, that you can also use as a display piece, or if you want to take a photo of this figure. I think would be a good backdrop. It has some symbols, Linto tribe symbols, as what we've seen on the packaging. This is a bit awesome. And then here's the manual of the figure. Of course, it came with all of these figures came with a manual, just to let you have an idea in which part goes to where. So you can see the parts and how you're gonna transform it into the form, the Guram form, how you're gonna put it inside of the Guram, everything, and alternate parts, pretty much it. Then yeah, we do have here a two-piece trays, like we've seen. So here's Kuuga. Okay, I think you've seen that. And then here are the other alternate parts that we will tackle on later on. So for size comparison, we do have here the S.I.C Kamen Rider Kuuga figure, standing alongside with Batman the DC collectible New 52 figure from a box set that was released way back. And then we also have here a Marvel Legends by Hasbro Iron Man figure. And of course, the Black Series Star Wars figure Stormtrooper from Hasbro. So this figure stands at least 7-inch tall. So 7-inch tall, I think almost 7-inch, the 6-inch ones. Just to give you an idea how tall this figure is. Alright, for the articulation of the figure, the head itself and the neck, it has a good range of motion. I can't do much movement on the head itself, but I think it's on a ball joint. Doesn't move much aside from turning sideways. Right, and then the neck itself gives the entire head a good range of motion. gives you a more dynamic range. So it can tilt sideways, it can swivel, it can look up that far, it can look down, not much about looking down. Uh, the shoulder guards is on a hinge. It's on a hinge. It's an interconnecting piece between this body armor here at the front and at the back of the figure. And then on the shoulders, it can raise as far as that. So it's on a ball joint right there connected through the body. So it gives you good range of motion. The bicep can swivel. All right. It has a double hinge, elbow joint. All right. And then the wrist is on a hinge right there, as you can see. So it's I think this is one's better than using a ball jointed hinge wrist joint for me. All right, and then for the ab crunch, it can go as far as that downward, and then back not much because of the armor piece. It can tilt a little, has a good swivel here. Okay, and then for the legs, it has a thigh swivel. It has a thigh swivel. Oh my god, it fell off. Okay, let me just put that back in. It fell off. Let's just remove that. So it has a thigh swivel, and then it's on a ball joint right there on the crotch. So it has a good range of motion right there. This part here is on a soft plastic, so it doesn't hinder much on the range of motion that the legs can do. So it can go as far as that. It has a double hinge knee. Okay, and then it has a toe articulation. And then I think the ankle guard here is on a die cast. It has a ankle pivot. There's a pivot right there. It can move upward. It can move downward. So pretty much the range of motion here is great. And the thing about an action figure that comes with the interchangeable parts, sometimes you can't help it that there are some parts that tends to fall off. Here's the actual look of the figure. So this was sculpted by Kenji Ando. He's a renowned sculptor for some action figures in Bandai. So he has a good compound eyes, a very attractive looking one. The sculpting of the armor is really great. The color scheme and everything. The weathering part, it's awesome. And actually looking at the figure, I think the only thing that I can feel that it's made out of diecast is the ankle guards, but I could be wrong. But that's just pretty much it. You know. So check out the detailing here on the feet of the figure. There you go. So at the back, there's some nice details going on with this figure. The butt. So for the accessories of the figure, it came with a decent number of it. Let's start with the alternate hands. So the alternate hands pretty much you can remove the arm, the hand guard, or whatever they want to call it, there's like a piece right there that can be taken out of. Alright, it came with a signature thumb raise hand, and then it came with I think it's a semi calm looking hand, or I will strangle you to death. Strangle hands. Splayed hands. And then we have this calm pose hands. Not sure if you can see it. Let me just. There you go. So it came with that. Aside from the closed fist hands that came with the figure by default, of course. And then it came with a part where if you want to turn Kuuga into Decade, pretending to be Kuuga, you can use this Decader belt that you can replace with the figure. It came with the instructions on how to do it. It's easy. You just need to take the belt out of the figure and just put this right in. It's on a peg, so I think there won't be any problems with that. Just be careful, of course, that you might break the figure. And if you have owned the Kamen Rider Decade and you haven't owned this one, it's different because of it doesn't the belt or the decader doesn't turn, because as you can see on my previous review of S.I.C Decade, this figure can move, it can swivel. And then the Rider Booker, it came with a gun form only, and the sword that you can attach here, it doesn't came with one. And second, it doesn't open, it's just fixed, so it doesn't open. I tried, but for some reason it does not do it. So yeah, so you can just keep this right in here with the peg. Okay. Alright, and then we do have here some interchangeable parts, because basically you can by instruction you will need to put in Kuuga inside of the Guram. But for this one I'm not gonna compared to Kamen Rider Kabuto's final form ride. Basically you can really put in stuff here for the Guram that can be used as a stand-alone itself without putting Kuuga in it. I have already placed in the parts that came with Guram. As you can see, on knowing where which part goes to where, it's really easy. Here doesn't have any die-cast parts. It's really lightweight, as you can see here. So I really like this Guram a lot. So it has some features like the stag beetle's horns, or whatever you want to call it. It moves like that. Alright, and then it has a good sculpting here, and then the eyes is right there, as you can see, the red one. And then this is the Amadam, or like the power source or something like that of the Guram. And then you can open this one. It's on a peg right there. It's on an interconnecting piece. Just be careful. Remember, if it won't budge, don't force it too much because you might break it. Alright, it's on a hinge right there. See, so it has a very nice detail, sculpting wise and everything. It's very, very good. It's a very good display. It's huge. It can take up some space on your shelf, but this one is with the sculpting and everything that's going on here, it's really good, as you can see. I just hope that they included like a translucent or transparent wing part that you can attach here on the Guram. But overall, it's nice. And then here, it's a piece wherein you need to put into Kuuga if you're gonna transform it into Guram form, or if you're gonna put that the figure inside of this Guram. So what I'm gonna do later is I might be including the instructions manual on my blog, so I would do screenshots of it, so in case you would be able to get this figure without the instruction manual, you can check it out on my blog for your reference. So it's an interconnecting piece again, but I won't be able to, I'm not gonna do that, so we're not gonna use this one. Okay. Alright, so for the amazing mighty form, so we do have here a good sculpted body part here. It's an interconnecting piece, two-piece actually, right there. So there's a peg right there. You're gonna touch it at the back of the figure. So you can see the chest. I really like how the chest was sculpted, you know, and everything in it. So it's just dope. It's made out of plastic. It's lightweight, and then this is the forearm guards for the amazing mighty part. These are the the knee guards, and then this is the hand guard, the back of the hand guard, or I don't know what thing is called exactly, but this is like the armor part here that you're gonna attach here. It has a peg right there. You're gonna attach it here on the arm or on the hand, like that. So this, and then we have here the shin guards. I think this is made out of die cast. Both of it, you have to. Right, so it has a very nice sculpting and all. It's made out of die cast. And then lastly, we do have here the amadem for the amazing mighty form. So it's on translucent plastic, and it has a very nice detail. Alright, so let's go back. So I stripped Kuuga naked. So I was planning to show you guys how the entire structure of this figure's body looks like. So yeah, so you know, I think you can use this base body as a default if you're planning to do a custom figure, I guess. Yeah, I think you can use this. As you can see, there's some joints right there, interconnecting piece. It moves, it has some joints right here and here, pretty much, so you can use this figure. Yeah, so let's go ahead and build the amazing mighty form. Okay, so yeah, I've never expected it would be that time consuming as I thought. So basically this is the amazing mighty form, and as you can see, the hands are not attached to the hands, to the arms itself. Reason because when you're placing the forearm armor under the figure, it really is really stiff, to the point that you may need to pull back because you might break the joint here. It's not like it's going to happen. It's just that I'm doing precautions just to make sure that it doesn't happen. So the trick maybe is that you're gonna submerge this annoying part here, because it's really, yeah. Alright, so this part here is really the joint right here. So there's a tendency that it may break if I force it too much, you know. So what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna submerge this to hot water for like 10 seconds. The hot water treatment, if you know about that. And then I'm gonna insert that in while this plastic is soft, because it's really stiff. to the point that it doesn't go all the way, so it doesn't have enough space for you to attach the hands, so it's really that difficult. But overall, this is how Kuga looks like in his amazing mighty form, as you can see. All right. I wish they could have do the ultimate form rather than this form. So as mentioned, so here's a comparative review that showcases both of Kuga's form in the S.I.C line. So we do have here the S.I.C Classic Kamen Rider Kuuga or Mask Rider Kuuga based off the sculpt of Takeyuki Takeya. And we do have here, of course, the Kenji Ando version of this character, Kamen Rider Kuuga, the decade version. So, I really like both of the figures. They do have both pros and cons, but what I really like about the classic is that the monstrous details um, that Takea really did work hard on, because if you would check out his works, it's really amazing how he can turn a normal regular character into something more emphasized and very more detailed and monstrous design, which I really like about this figure. As you can see, it can even open the mouth. um, and despite the anorexic look and very thin like look, it's really a good figure that I would really love to put in my display shelf. Actually, it's a really nice figure to do when you're doing toy photography. This is a more artistic looking figure compared to this one, in my opinion though. In my opinion, this is just more an emphasized details, and that's pretty much it. A more detailed looking of the counterpart character based from a TV series, and that's pretty much it that I can tell about the Kenji Ando version of Kuga. Though articulation wise, this is much better than this one. So as you can see here, it's using a ball joint here, right there. The arm can raise as far as that. Not much on the articulation piece. The head has a good range of motion, and the legs can go as far as that. But the leg, despite that it's on a double ball joint, it doesn't really deploy the amount of basically it won't be able to deploy the amount of articulation that a normal collector would look for in an action figure, which they can find on this one. So that's pretty much it. um I can't say that this one is better than the other, or they have both pros and cons in my point of view. So we have a different perspective though. That's why I think some people may disagree with me on this one. So yeah, so that's pretty much it about this review. So please do follow me on Instagram. You can check me out on Facebook. The links is on the description below. Please do subscribe. And I do have a blog as well, so might as well check on that as well. So thanks for checking out my review on this figure. Yeah, see you guys later. Peace.